see for your host one more time. Thanks to all of you for coming out too. This is a great show, and it's awesome for the first show too to have a turnout like this. So this first thing I'm going to say is entirely my fault. That's how I start every conversation, by the way. It's like, first of all, I have failed. I didn't realize until just a little over an hour ago that this was like a pretty clean show. I showed up and your lovely host, she was like, thanks for coming. Would you like to look over the guidelines? And I was like, guidelines? Uh-oh. Well, there goes my set. Cool. You know, y'all are lovely people, and I'm going to do the best I can for you. I will fail. I've mentioned that off the top. I'm a failure. Now, I love living here in Nashville. I've been here for a while. I'm actually originally from the state of Montana, though. It's where I grew up. Yeah, that's the usual reaction. Just dead silence. Everyone's like, ooh, I forgot that was even a place. Like, people from Alabama always get so mad, like how much trash you guys talk about them, but it's like, hey, at least they're talking about you. I tell people I'm from Montana, and they're just, the questions I get are mainly, it's like, have you ever seen the show Yellowstone? Yeah, I've seen enough to stop watching the show Yellowstone. But people love it down here. And then I ask them, it's like, you guys like the show Nashville? Yeah, it's that. That's what it is entirely. But no, it's nice being down here. My family, they all still live up in Montana. I call them once a week just to check in and see how everything's going with them. I can tell, though, that my mom is watching the news sometimes when I'm on the phone. Because, like, she's a mother. She's going to worry about everything. So we'll be having a nice conversation about how our week went. And out of nowhere, she's just like, John, you need to be careful. Fentanyl is everywhere these days. Werewolves roam the streets. Volcanoes are erupting. I was like, where do you think I moved to? Also, that's kind of cool that you just imagine I'm out here doing blow with werewolves. That idea came from. It's hard to explain to my parents, though. It's like, I don't do any of the hard drugs, anything like that, because, like, even though I'm 27, a hangover from beer makes me feel like a 53-year-old man fresh off his third divorce. It's rough. I wake up at like 1 p.m. just like, oh God, oh. Like I sound like a ghost that's haunting my own mind. Just being in a giant robe covered in chains, like, oh. I can just keep doing that. I always get some blank stares at this point, for obvious reasons. But did I lose you when I said I'm 27? I understand that I look like I'm 40. I look in the mirror every day. That isn't lost on me. In fact, I kind of wish I was 40 and just told people I'm 27. Because that's somebody that's a lot easier to like wrap your head around than being a 27-year-old that looks 40. I have some explaining to do to be that person. And the only thing I can come up with is like, I don't know, we're Irish. It's like, we've been cursed for 1,000 years. There's probably like a 100-year-old photo of me, like the first Irish at Ellis Island, just like the... One of those spooky historical photos you see in the museum. It's always when you turn the corner too. It's like, and here's our next exhibit. Like, should have warned me about that picture, good Lord. No, it's pretty bad. Like, it's always been like this. Like, back in high school, I would always be the dude to go and buy beer for the rest of the class because they never ID'd me at the gas station. It was always some dude 40 years older than me just leaning across the counter being like, do I recognize you? Like, you shouldn't. I'm a child. Like, no, I'm pretty sure we played baseball together. You never did that. I look like the kind of guy that... It's like, I can see him now, it's funny. Now, I look like the kind of guy that when I walk into a KFC, what I order would be a... Well, first of all, I look like the kind of guy that walks into KFC. And just start right there. Secondly, I look like the kind of dude that when I walk in there, what I order is a cheesy chicken Cheeto sandwich. I'm gonna spit in the spit in the face that meal was. It's like something they scooped out of Chernobyl and threw in a wrapper and they're like, shove that down your throat. Now pay me $10. You think that's bad? It's like some of my comedian buddies here, they wasted no time in telling me that I look like the alien from the original Men in Black movie. Just let that one soak in. Now anytime I go hang out with them, they're just like, come on, man, come on, do the impression. It's like, I'm going to do the rest of my set just for that. To make it look like that was planned. This is very comfortable that way, actually. Yeah, I hate how well that joke does. Really wish there'd be one crowd of people that would just completely bomb on. They'd be like, what's he talking about? Nope. When I did my debut at Zanies, a dream come true, I knew it was like, that's the closer. The set goes terribly. That's going to win him back. It is nice being from Montana, though. I do get some weird questions, though. People ask me a lot of weird stuff. This one guy came up to me, he's like, Montana, I heard it was so cold up there that y'all don't even have sidewalks. I said, yes. That's not true at all, but he seems so excited about it. It's like, let's let him have this. Plus, it's funny to me just him at a bar being like, I got confirmation that there are no sidewalks in Montana because it's too cold. Then someone's like, well, I watched Ice Road Truckers and they were driving on roads up in Alaska, so I don't know what. Yeah, that bit never works, but it's like, to me, it's important that there's a whole show in Alaska where there's roads and sidewalks, but this dude's like, Montana, no. It ain't happening up there, man. You know, people ask me too, it's like, what is it that you do up in Montana? Is there a lot to do? It's like, no, there's not a lot. There's two main things you can do up in Montana. You can go hunting for Bigfoot, or you can do meth. Or you can do both. I think the meth might actually help you find Bigfoot. I think those Bigfoot hunters, they got a bad rap too. Like, everyone was talking all this crazy stuff about them, how they were out of their minds. But we went to our terrible jobs, and they were millionaire TV stars that just got drunk with their buddies and running into the woods. Like, here's all this high-tech gear. They didn't have to prove anything. Like, you see that bear track that looks exactly like a bear track? That ain't a bear. That's a squatch. The producer's like, you're getting 2 more seasons of this show, buddy. That's amazing. Here's what I'll say. It's like, when it comes to Bigfoot, it doesn't really make a difference in your life one way or another if you believe in him, so you might as well. Don't you think life's a little bit more fun thinking there's this magical gorilla out there that you and your buddies can just go capture? Whose weekend would you rather hear about? It's like, all right, what did you guys do? It's like, well, we went to the farmer's market, and then we went to bed at a reasonable hour. All right, Todd, how about you, bud? It's like, Eli and I got a bottle of whiskey, and we charged into the woods with a couple pistols, looking for Bigfoot. Spare no detail, bud. I want to hear every bit of that story. Here's what I'll say. It's like, if you guys are kind of on the fence about Bigfoot, I always ask these kind of questions of the crowd. If you're not into Bigfoot, what about aliens? Anybody here believe in aliens? Yeah. It kind of sucks to believe in aliens now that the government is saying it's like, yeah, they're real. It's like, well, it's not even cool anymore. It's like when mom learns a TikTok dance. You're like, well, that's the death of that trend. Fair. It's aliens. Ghosts. Anybody into ghosts out there? Even on the fence? Okay. Scientology. Yeah, I'm a little on the fence about Scientology, too. I always have to say that at this point, because if I'm defending Bigfoot, people are just like, he might be handing out pamphlets. I will say this, though. It's like, there's a gray area with everything. I try to keep an open mind. And obviously, Scientology's pretty out there, but have you seen a Tom Cruise movie? It certainly works for that dude. Most people who are in their 60s have to like rock themselves out of a chair. Tom Cruise is 60, he's like, strap me to the outside of that cargo jet. And we're going into the stratosphere 6 times today. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for coming out tonight.